As we look at the second half of Genesis chapter 9 and on into chapter 10, it has been said that we move from gazing upon the beauty of the rainbow to once again groaning in the shadow of sin. For all of the good that Noah is and does, he was not perfect. Following the flood, Noah became a farmer and he planted a vineyard. In time, he reaped the harvest and made wine. Now look, the Bible has much to say about wine. On one side, it's a picture of God's blessing. On the other side, it can be a source of pain and devastation. And such was the case here. Noah has too much to drink. He gets drunk. He passes out naked in his tent. And while he's laying there, sleeping off his folly, his son Ham and grandson Canaan enter his tent. We don't know exactly what transpired, but Ham ends up telling his brothers about it, and ultimately his brothers honor their father Noah by walking into the tent backwards and covering him up. Again, the exact details are best left to history, but whatever happened, whatever Ham and or Canaan did, was at a minimum disrespectful and incredibly dishonoring. When Noah wakes up and learns of what has taken place, he curses Ham and his descendants, saying, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." This event, as weird and as unspecific as it may be, actually has huge ramifications for the rest of the biblical story. On a practical side, we see the impact of Noah's curse. It's worth noting that a curse is only as relevant insofar as it aligns with God's will, and in this case, it seems like it does. See, in chapter 10, we learn that the descendants of Canaan would eventually become the enemies of the servants of God's people. They'd become the inhabitants of what would be the promised land. They would become the Canaanites. On a spiritual side, we're reminded that once again, without God's intervention, we're all in a lot of trouble. Noah clearly isn't perfect, and neither is his family. If the future of the world were dependent upon him or them, we'd all be in trouble. But while Ham and his family are cursed, Shem and his house are blessed. And herein lies another glimpse of what God is doing in the larger scope of the Bible. See, one of Shem's lineage would be a man named Abram, the man through which God would promise to bless the entire world. In his wisdom, God uses people like you and me, uses us to accomplish his perfect plan and purpose. But it's not as if God sort of winds us up and then just lets us go. Rather, he patiently, graciously intervenes and guides. We must therefore grasp both the glory and the humility of this. We are his image bearers, his agent for his expansion of his kingdom. But we're not alone. As the poet and songwriter William Cooper said, God moves in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. He plans his footsteps in the seas and rides upon the storm. Deep in unfathomable minds of never-failing skill, he treasures up his bright designs and works his sovereign will.